Chapter 19. Training. Early in the orientation process, you may be asked to fill out a form that's designed to help the company match you with a compatible trainer. That way, you're not stuck with a Tim McGraw-loving chain smoker if you're a non-smoking AC/DC wannabe headbanger. You'll be paid a set weekly salary while you're in training. You should know this dollar amount before you show up at orientation. If your recruiter doesn't tell you, ask. A trainer is an experienced driver who has agreed to show the ropes to new drivers, for extra pay, of course. Usually, if you have less than 1 year of experience, you'll be forced to go with a trainer for a specified amount of time. Training typically lasts 2 to 4 weeks, but it could be longer, depending on your progress and the company's policy. Your trainer's job is to familiarize you with company policies and procedures and continue the driving instruction that you started in driving school. Their ultimate goal is to establish you as a self-sufficient professional truck driver. At least that should be their goal. As I said earlier, trainers are paid extra for training a student. Sometimes the pay comes as a set amount per student, but more commonly it's extra money above his base pay for each mile run in the truck. Many times this translates into a trainer who uses a student as a team driver to get extra miles and money instead of actually teaching you how to drive. Oh, they may sit up and help you for the first couple of days, but after that, they let you drive while they sleep, and vice versa. Doing so can almost double their miles, while you're still earning a weekly salary. Moreover, you aren't being taught anything. Many times, a student won't say anything to the trainer for fear of getting on their bad side. Don't be this person. Don't get cocky, just remind them that you're there to be trained, not figure out how to drive by trial and error. It's perfectly fine if they gradually let you start driving more each day by yourself. Doing so will build your driving stamina and help prepare you for the day when you get out on your own. Just don't let it happen at the very beginning when you still need help. No one likes a narc, but if they don't start training you properly after you confront them, report it to the company and request a different trainer. The trucking company will definitely want to know if their trainers aren't doing the job that they're being paid to do. Putting an untrained, incompetent student behind the wheel of one of their trucks is not something they should feel very comfortable with. Some companies even have a feedback system where you can evaluate a trainer on their performance as a teacher. Use it if they've got it. If they ignore your complaint, you may have picked the wrong company to work for. As we all know, some people you meet, you just instantly dislike. If you get with a trainer who makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up every time they speak, ask the company for a different trainer. Companies understand that sometimes personalities clash for no apparent reason. They'd much rather give you a different trainer than have you throwing punches at each other on the side of the highway. This personality clash pertains to dispatchers too. Once you're out of training, you'll be assigned to a dispatcher or fleet manager. If you continually clash with them for some reason, ask for another one. Dealing with a boss who you can't stand will make your job unbearable. Your trainer will be your trucking guru. Your trainer should give you further training on driving, help you with company policies, and generally be a second pair of eyes. They'll spot for you in crowded truck stops and customer docks when you're still learning to back properly, and they'll make sure you're aware of that VW Beetle that insists on driving in your blind spot. They'll show you the proper way to cross a DOT way station. They'll show you how to plan your trips so you can pick up and deliver loads on time. They'll show you how to get the most out of your logbook. They'll show you how to draw payroll advances, how to deal with shippers and receivers, and get you signed up for those driver rewards cards that'll let you earn free showers and money towards truck stop purchases and food. They'll also show you how to fuel your truck and how to pay for it with a company card. Another tip. If you want to impress your trainer, always refer to diesel fuel as fuel. Never call it gas. Gasoline and diesel fuel are two totally different things, and your trainer and any other truckers are just waiting for you to call it gas so they can correct you. I really don't know why truckers make such a big deal out of it, but they do. To me, it's like asking someone for a Kleenex and not getting one because the box says Puffs on it. Heck, they both serve the same purpose, to blow or pick your nose without getting stared at. Likewise, gasoline and diesel fuel both make a motor run, so who gives a rip? I just don't understand why truckers are so anal about this, but they are. Call it fuel, and even if your trainer doesn't show it, they'll be impressed. This training period can be a living hell if you don't get along with your trainer. Start out on a good foot by not bringing 10 bags of junk with you. Keep it simple. One duffel bag for clothes. It's easier to mash into tight places in a suitcase. One smaller bag or backpack for taking clothes, shower sandals, and toiletries into the truck stop showers, and your sleeping bag and pillow. Remember, the less stuff you bring to crowd your trainer's truck, the better. If he offers you some cooler space, you might get off cheaper by stopping somewhere and getting some sandwich stuff instead of eating out every day. I once talked to a driver who had only been out of training for a week. He told me that his trainer had a cooler stocked full of food and drinks, but never offered him any space to put his own food, or even offered to stop to let him acquire any. Many times the trainer would tell the student to pull over on an exit ramp so he could make himself a sandwich. The student said he always wondered what he was supposed to do for food, but never voiced it. He said that he sometimes went 10 to 12 hours without eating. It's easy to say that this wouldn't happen to you, but it easily could. As a student, you feel like you'll look bad to your trainer if you need to stop for something like food. Just don't let yourself be abused. It's unacceptable for a trainer to ignore your need for food or restroom breaks. And now that you know that it happens, you can make sure it doesn't happen to you. Listen to your trainer when they're talking. Do not go in with the know-it-all attitude because you don't know squat. Even if your trainer has only been driving for a year or two, he still has that much experience over you. Humble yourself and keep an open mind to his instruction. Despite this, no matter how hard you try, you'll undoubtedly have a few spats with your trainer. It's inevitable when you get in a stressful situation and you both get in a panic. The best trainer is a calm trainer, and the best student is an open-minded student. How well you get along with your trainer and how open-minded you are to teaching will determine how much you learn. I was lucky enough to get Bob. Bob had just won the Company Driver of the Year award and had been issued a brand new state-of-the-art truck. He had been a trainer for a few years, but had recently given it up because he couldn't stand most of the students' attitudes and lack of even the most basic driving skills, especially when it came to shifting. I'm guessing he had his fair share of CDL farm graduates. The training department begged him to come back to train me because they thought we'd be a perfect match. Still, he wanted no part of it. They assured him that I didn't have an attitude and was eager to learn. Furthermore, we both liked the same music, basically any genre, we were both laid back, had a similar sense of humor, and best of all, I didn't smell or smoke like some of his past students. What finally convinced him was when he heard that I could shift a truck better than the average student. I'm sure it didn't hurt that I already knew how to back a truck due to my job at the egg plant. We met and hit it off quite well. He was also grateful that I didn't bring a ton of stuff with me. Told you. He drove us out of the terminal to show me what he expected of me. After a couple of hours, we swapped seats. What the jerk didn't tell me was that I was heading into construction on I-94 through downtown Chicago on a Friday night. He kept telling me to keep up with traffic, despite the fact that everyone was going 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. Those narrow lanes and heavy, probably half-drunk traffic had me as scared as a lawyer on Judgment Day. When we finally got out of traffic a lifetime and a half later, I stole a look at him. He was cheesing from ear to ear and started to laugh, which got me laughing. Turns out he did it on purpose to test me. Apparently he had a warped sense of humor too. This guy was driving right up my alley. Bob did everything that a good trainer is supposed to do. He sat in the passenger seat while I drove and calmly talked me through stressful situations. Eventually, and very gradually, he gave me more time alone behind the wheel. We got into a couple of small spats, but nothing serious. As I've said, small arguments with your trainer are inevitable. Remember, you're probably scaring the lumps right out of them 3 or 4 times a day. Overall, though, it was a great experience for me. Unless he was lying through his teeth, he seemed quite satisfied with the experience, too. Unfortunately, not everyone has such good luck with trainers. The evil overlord didn't get a Bob. Her training experience wasn't good from the start. It only makes sense that with so few women truck drivers, it would be hard to find a female trainer. Most women drivers are team driving with their husbands. Of the ones that are solo drivers, finding one with enough experience who is willing to train rookies is like trying to find a diamond in a bucket full of cubic zirconia. The company had a few female trainers, but since they were in such high demand, one wouldn't be available for a week. The evil overlord could wait it out at a hotel or get hooked up with a male trainer until a female became available. She chose the latter so we'd both be finished with training at the same time. Her first trainer was an older married gentleman named John. Her experience with John was generally good, but there was one huge problem. The company didn't want a male and female who weren't married to sleep in the same truck. This isn't very common. Therefore, every night they had to drive around until they could find a hotel with truck parking. That's not an easy task. After a couple frustrating nights of hotel hunting, she finally called me up and asked if I'd care if she slept in the truck with him, on the upper bunk, of course. Now, the evil overlord has always been a good judge of character, which makes it baffling as to why she married me. And I'm not the jealous type, since I'm so frickin' good looking. But I told her if she felt safe with him, it was fine by me. So for the rest of the week, they ignored the company policy, and things went fairly well. Then everything went to hell in a handbasket. Enter the she-devil. Dun dun dun! Ever meet someone you instantly didn't like and the feelings were mutual? The evil overlord and the she-devil clashed from the get-go. As a solo female trainer, the she-devil had a major chip on her shoulder and seemed to enjoy talking down to the evil overlord. She accused the evil overlord of being a priss and generally gave off bad attitude, which wasn't warranted. As I've said before, other than backing, the evil overlord was a safer driver and could shift better than me from the beginning, so I know the she-devil didn't have much room to complain about her driving. The evil overlord would probably never admit it, but I think she was a victim of the prettier-than-you syndrome. As I've previously stated, any female trucker gets a lot of attention, but the pretty ones get an extra dosage. The she-devil was a decent-looking woman, so she got more than her fair share of attention from male truckers. She seemed to enjoy it, too. All that changed when the evil overlord showed up. Even though she didn't want or ask for the extra attention, she got it anyway. So all of a sudden, the she-devil was playing second fiddle and didn't much like it. So she took it out on the evil overlord. Just a theory, but I know I'm right. Women. Can't live with them, can't keep them chained up in the kitchen. The real kicker was when the she-devil decided to stop off at a family reunion in Nebraska, with the evil overlord in tow. I guess that wouldn't have been so bad had the she-devil kept the evil overlord by her side and introduced her to everyone and included her in everything. Instead, she walked in and left her standing alone. Eventually, the she-devil's mother noticed a stranger in the midst, introduced herself, and after apologizing for her daughter's lack of manners, made the evil overlord feel at home. Thankfully, she was an extremely sweet lady, unlike her evil offspring. Still, just to be put in that position was wrong. Needless to say, there I go again. They were both happy when training was over, and they parted ways. Will you get Bob or the she-devil? Although most carriers will try to match you with someone you're compatible with, it can sometimes be luck of the draw. Your training experience will probably fall somewhere between Bob and the she-devil. If you get Bob, thank your lucky stars. If you get the she-devil, ask for another trainer. 2 to 4 weeks is a long time to spend fantasizing about gouging their eyes out with a dull fork. The only reason the evil overlord stayed in that bad situation was that she already had half of her training finished and decided just to grin, or grimace, and bear it. There's one more possibility for team drivers. Some companies are now allowing an experienced driver to train a new co-driver. This works great for husband and wife teams. Of course, the experienced driver will have to have enough experience to train a rookie properly. Furthermore, your company will likely make the experienced driver go through some sort of training to teach them how to train someone else. But hey, it's better than sending your wife out to train with a she-devil like the evil overlord had. I actually had to do this for the evil overlord when she decided to get back into trucking. Normally, when you're only out of the trucking industry for 2 to 3 years, you can jump right back in where you left off. But if you've been out longer than that, many companies will require you to go through a refresher course with a trainer. Now, when the evil overlord first started the process of getting back into the industry, she was inside the 3-year window. But without us realizing it, by the time she got hired, the 3-year mark had passed. So basically, she lost all of her standing when it came to claimed experience. To every company out there, she was considered a newbie. Sadly, that brought newbie pay with it. We were expecting her to come back making the big bucks. Instead, she was making a pittance. And to make matters worse, she restarted in 2008, right when the entire economy went into the tank. And that explains why she only stuck it out for 1 more year. Hey, what do you know? My feeble old brain remembered. Woohoo! I'm done with my training. Do I get my own truck now? Maybe. It depends on your company. Some will put you in your own truck and send you on your merry little way. Others, like our first company, had one more training step that involved teaming up with another new driver for a couple of weeks. They do this so you and the other driver, both clueless rookies, will be able to help each other out. You may have forgotten how to get a cash advance off your fuel card. Your partner remembers. He may have forgotten how to use the in-truck satellite system, and you've got it down pat. One of the biggest benefits of having a co-driver for an extra couple of weeks is having an extra set of eyes. The last thing you need while trying to downshift into 5th gear, switch lanes, and dodge traffic is to look for an itty-bitty tiny unlit street sign in the dark. Once you get to the shipper or a truck stop, it's also helpful to have a spotter to help you back up without destroying anything. While it may be annoying to get stuck in a truck for a couple of weeks with another driver that you've never met, there will be times when you'll be glad they're there. As both new drivers and a husband-wife team, we lucked out in that the company stuck us together for those couple of extra weeks of training. So in essence, we just got started 2 weeks earlier than those solo dudes. Keep in mind that going out with a trainer only happens when you're fresh out of school, so you should only have to tolerate it once. I say should because if you quit and go to work for another company before you have 1 year of experience under your belt, you may have to endure another trainer to prove yourself. If you've got that full year's experience when you switch jobs for the first time, the next company you go to work for will assign you a truck right out of orientation and put you to work. Provided, of course, that you haven't been out of the industry for longer than 3 years, as we recently found out. Now am I ready to roll? Yes, you are. Congratulations, and good luck if you've made it this far. Oh, one important final word. If you get into truck driving, make sure you allow yourself enough time to decide whether you'll like it or not. There's a crucial 6-month period where you're learning the ropes of a new job and an entirely new lifestyle. During this period, more drivers quit than any other time. If you've bothered spending the time, money, and effort to get into trucking, then for Pete's sake, stick around and give it a chance. It may grow on you. Then again, it may not. Just don't make that final decision until you've gotten over the 6-month hump. But before I sum up, what better way to show you what trucking is like than to show you what a typical day looks like? Better yet, let's look at 3 full days of trucking.